Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.
Welcome back, everyone, to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. And with me today, I have Andrea Febres.
Yes.
How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Evie?
I'm doing great. It's nice to finally be back in the podcast studio. I feel like since switching over to 2025, it's kind of been snowstorms and everybody's out sick and all these things are going on and playing catch up. And I'm like, okay, I'm finally sitting back in my seat in the podcast studio.
I'm glad. That it's happening with me.
Yes. So, Andrea, tell me about what you do and who you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Andrea Febres. Like you said, I am from Venezuela and I am currently in the real estate industry. I've been doing it since the pandemic. So,
Really?
yes, I always said I'm a pandemic realtor.
I think that probably was, you're already a step ahead from everybody else at that point because you've already had to think about the creative plan and how you're going to get it in front of people. And during that time with COVID, what did you notice was probably the biggest hurdle you had to cross when it came to like people looking for homes?
Well, when I first started, the market was so different back then. To be honest, the market changes so fast. But back then, the interest rate was like super, super low, and everybody was basically, okay, I need a home. Like now, no one knew what was going to happen. We didn't know if we were going to keep our jobs, if we were going to have money to pay the houses, or what was going to happen to the world, and if we were going to ever go back to normal. But with the economy, the way the United States moved things around and kept everybody going, it was amazing. Like having people thinking about, okay, this is my time, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a crazy market because everybody was looking for houses. So I think the biggest thing was like trying to start in that market and being new and learning things that way.
Yeah.
And I always remember my broker saying like, this is not the normal. Like this is not the normal, and things are gonna change. Like things are gonna change in like couple of
Really?
months. Yes. So I learned, and then he was like always telling me, okay, everything that you learn. Like I started with a person who's also from Venezuela, a small brokerage. So he trained me. I happened to buy my first house with him. And it's funny because I stopped working what I was working, and I called him. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm not working. I'm stuck at home. And I heard someone saying that you can stop your mortgage payments. So he's like, oh, really? Well, I didn't know that. Why don't you call your bank, find out, let me know what they said? And since you're not working, why don't you just become a realtor? And I'm like, okay, well, that may be something that I can do now with, having the kids at home. And that's how I started.
That's actually wonderful because what people don't realize is that the housing market, without knowing, actually plays a big role in our economic status in the
Big.
United States. And one of the things that we've been seeing, especially recently, is that there's this huge divide between the number of people actively looking for homes and trying to buy a home, and then the number of homes that are actually available
Exactly.
for them to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about that dynamic in its own. What's been the struggle between that ratio?
Definitely, how you said it, like there's not enough houses, and it looks like we're not going to have enough houses in the future. Um, Statistically, United States, like you said, the real estate market has played a big role into our economy. And with all the new generations coming out and becoming more independent, they are coming into our market. Well, while millennials and Gen Zs and are still looking for houses. Not a lot of people from the millennial groups have houses yet.
Yeah.
And we have now the new generations coming out and wanting to buy houses. So there's not enough houses in the United States. That's the biggest that's the biggest problem right now. And with the way the economy is going, and not a lot of people have they're not sure what's going to happen, but you always have to pay somewhere to live. You
Yeah.
know why?
It's either gonna be rent or it's gonna be mortgage.
Exactly. You're gonna have to pay either or. So a lot of people are thinking, okay, if I'm gonna be paying $2,000 monthly, why don't just go out and buy my own home?
Yeah.
And then in the near future, 4 or 5 years, I can see what I can do if I can go to a bigger place, or families change so
That's
much.
true.
So that's our biggest situation right now. It's struggle to find houses, to make
It is a
sure,
struggle.
yeah, make sure your clients get what they're looking for. A lot of people will come with so many expectations, and then as they start, um, those expectations are have to shift a lot because
You
of
kind
that.
of see their demeanor go down a little bit. Like their
Yes.
initial excitement, and then kind of leading up to the end part, they're like, okay, we had to give in on a lot
Mm-hmm.
because there really aren't enough options out there.
Yes.
And given also the fact that how much interest rates are up, how much the cost of homes have actually gone up
A lot.
crazily,
Mhm.
it's insane.
Yes.
I think what I read was that or I learned from a Spark conversation this past week was that the average poverty level for a 4-person household is now 93,000 a year.
Exactly.
That's poverty level.
Mm-hmm.
That baffled me.
Yeah, I know. It used to be, I mean, like a median home in Richmond. Just talk about our city, which is a small city, still development. The median was like 230, and now the median home is $400,000. So
That-
it's a big difference.
When we're talking about getting up to with the costs of actually moving and the costs of closing costs and all of those things, you're looking at $500,000.
I know. I know. How much you have to make between you and your spouse, or what if it's, just you trying to buy a house? It's really hard. One of the things that I always said that I'm good at is listening to people. I love sitting down with my clients. I love taking the time to know them, to talk to them, listen to them, and see what their expectations are. I love to get to meet the family and meet the kids, and get to know them, where I can see and feel what a good house will be, or what they're looking for. Sometimes they'll come with a huge list of things that I want to have in my house, and when you talk to them and when they start looking at houses, how they can start. Okay, this is what I can compromise now, because this is what I can find. So that's a big thing. Like you have to feel that you're doing the right thing, because I love what I do. I love it. I mean, I cannot change it for a war. It's just so rewarding when you
Yeah.
see someone, getting to get their house. It's one of the biggest dreams,
It's
American
nice
dreams.
because they finally have a home.
Yes, yes.
When you're renting, it kind of feels like you're stuck in limbo.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yes.
like, I don't want to keep throwing my money away basically every single month and not
Mhm.
seeing a return on my investment. With a
Exactly.
home, you see a return on your investment.
Exactly. Yeah, I always tell them that having a house, a home, is like having a small savings account.
Yeah.
Because everything you put into it, like any renovations, anything you upgrade in your house, will give you more for what you pay.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it like when you have, and I promise this is my last question, I won't have you
No,
anymore, but what are the types of conversations that you have with families or with people looking for homes when you're like, okay, I listen to the expectations, I love your excitement, I think this is great that you're ready to take this big step in your life. Here's what we're looking at. What can you afford?
Exactly.
Because there's the issue of house poor.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things, like, I always try to emphasize more with them. what will be a monthly payment that you feel comfortable with? And that's what I like, to sit down and meet the family and see what their, how the family works. Because, there's a lot of people that are travelers.
Yeah.
So they are putting money aside every month to make sure they get that family, that family trip every year. Or what if it's a family that their kids are into sports? And sports can be really expensive
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah.
So I really want to meet them and see how's that dynamic, to make sure they're gonna feel comfortable with the monthly payment. Because I always tell them that I'm gonna try to find the dream house, but you have to have that set of mind that is going to be a payment that you're going to have to meet every month. And I want to make sure you feel comfortable making that
And
payment.
it's not choking you.
Exactly. Like, especially the first year. I have a lot of clients that I still communicating with every 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
I know, I love that. And I keep sending them text messages, or like a house anniversary, card every
Yeah.
year. And they still call me. They still send me a picture when they receive something they don't know what to do. And yeah, I still have that communication with them
Wow, that's
on
amazing.
regular basics. Yeah. And everything, like, hey, this month I'm struggling. Do you think I can do that? And I try to be there. And that's what with my experience now, that's one of the things I try to do more, like make sure you feel comfortable with what you're going to be paying for the next,
Yeah.
probably, hopefully less than 30 years.
And I think they say try to every year put like an extra towards principal.
Yes, there's many tricks. I tell them, either you can break that payment into 12 or make one extra.
Yeah.
And that'll cut 4 to 7 years out of your mortgage.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah,
Wow.
it's a lot of tricks.
Well, how can people get in contact with you?
Well, social media, Andrea Febres Realtor, altogether Instagram or Facebook.
Perfect.
And my phone number, 804-484-9671.
Perfect. And those of you that are watching, we will have all of Andrea's information in the description box. And those of you that are listening, it'll be in the description of the podcast on Spotify as well. So if you're listening on Spotify, BBB Sharing, please make sure to follow us and share it out. And if you're watching on BBB Central VA YouTube, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Thank you.
Thank you, Evie.
Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.